So picture this. I've got an impossible task. I have to tell our biggest, most important client that his brilliant new idea is a complete and utter failure. And get this, I've got 24 hours to do it. My entire career is on the line. Yeah, I had to walk straight into the CEO's office, and this guy is the reason our lights stay on, and explain how his pet project, the one he's been championing for months, was basically a sinking ship. I was completely trapped. It was one of those career defining moments where there were just no good options. Okay, so on one hand, I could tell the truth, probably lose the entire account, and almost certainly get fired. Or I could just tell him what he wanted to hear, keep everybody happy, and cruise right into my next promotion. The choice felt, yeah, impossible. And look, this wasn't some small miscalculation. The numbers we ran were absolutely brutal, a total disaster. His project wasn't just going to fall a little short. Our data was screaming that it would lose $50 million, a $50 million hole. Meanwhile, our recommended pivot could make $20 million. The facts were just staring me right in the face, clear as day. But you know how it is, right? Just having the facts doesn't make these conversations any easier. And as that 24-hour clock ticked down, the pressure just kept mounting. To make things worse, my own boss pulled me aside. He's like, look, you can't just walk in there and call his baby ugly. You gotta soften it. Find a way to make it work. Basically, he wanted me to fudge the numbers, to make the truth a little more fuzzy. So what do you do? I mean, really, what do you do in that situation when telling the absolute truth feels like career suicide, and everyone, even your boss, is telling you to just play the game? I was up all night, just pacing, totally lost. And then it hit me. I remember this really simple framework from my early training days, something that could cut right through all this noise. It wasn't some complex business school strategy or anything. It was just a simple test, just 4 direct questions designed for moments exactly like this. It's basically a litmus test for putting your client first. First, are you willing to deliver tough love even when it's hard? Second, are you willing to walk away if a deal compromises your values? Third, are you okay letting the client take all the credit for a win? And fourth, will you protect their secrets like they're your own? For me, in that moment, it all came down to that very first question, the tough love test. Was I really willing to tell this guy the complete, unvarnished truth, even if he hated it, even if it cost me my job? The answer had to be yes. So the next morning, I walked into that meeting, took a deep breath, and I just laid out the cold, hard facts. I chose tough love. And what happened next? Well, that's the real lesson here. Because the immediate aftermath was exactly as bad as I had feared it would be. The CEO was visibly angry. He cut the meeting short, didn't even say goodbye. My boss was absolutely furious with me on the car ride back. I honestly went home that night completely convinced I was getting fired the next day. But then something totally unexpected happened. About a week later, I get a call, and it's the CEO himself. He told me he'd had his own team rerun the numbers. Our data was right. And then he said something I will never, ever forget. He said, "You're the only advisor we have who had the guts to tell me the truth." And that's when it all clicked. That moment, it wasn't about saving one project. It wasn't about earning one consulting fee. It was about something so much bigger. It was about building the one single asset that outlasts everything else in business. The one thing you can't buy, but you can destroy in a single instant. See, in the long run, your most valuable asset isn't your product, it's not your technology. It's your reputation for unwavering trustworthiness. It all comes down to trust. So the question I want to leave you with is a simple one. In your work, in your career, in your life, are you just focused on the next transaction, or are you playing the long game and building unwavering, unbreakable trust?